Hello everyone, it's Kontinuum Formast and welcome to this brand new The Sims 4 speed build. So today I'm building the Miami Beach Villa here in The Sims 4, and yeah, as you can see, it's built in the tropical world. Simply because, you know, Miami has that beach vibe, and yeah, this world definitely's got the beach vibe as well. And yeah, it's going to be a very sort of minimalist contemporary house, which has 2 bedrooms, one like quite a large living room, just a good kitchen and the gym as well, because of course people living that Miami life have to go to the gym a lot. I actually didn't intend on building a Miami Beach villa, but I started working on this build, and I did have the intention to build something contemporary and something minimalist, and I knew I wanted to use these slates, so these vertical shutters, which I'm currently adding. And while building, I realized, okay, this sort of has that vibe which you tend to see in Miami Beach villas. Even though I do know that many of those houses in Miami tend not to be built on water, but often just alongside the water, especially like those very typical ones. But yeah, therefore it's mainly sort of just inspired by Miami, but not literally a visualization of a Miami villa. That would also make this the Around the World building series, but this is not an official episode of it, I guess. However, I'd really like to bring it back, that series, because yeah, people just really loved it, and it's, I think, really the most successful series on my channel ever. I personally really enjoyed it as well, but the problem with the Around the World building series was that at some point I'd done like most of the major countries, or at least most of the different styles you can like touch upon. In some cases I could have like added, you know, with regards to, for instance, Southeast Asian houses. I know that there are differences, but those differences are very subtle, and therefore it wouldn't really make that much of a difference building like a Vietnamese house and a Cambodian house. I guess maybe I'm totally wrong with this. I've never been to Vietnam, but like, it wouldn't really make that much of a difference in the title either, so people would probably think, oh, it's basically sort of the same. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. And also, if you've got any suggestion for how I could actually like maybe bring the Around the World building series to life again, let me know. But I guess maybe until it can really be relaunched successfully, we'll really need The Sims 5 or whatever like next version of The Sims will have, because I'm not too sure that it will be able, or I'll be able to just do a successful relaunch of that series, because basically many of the houses or many of the countries have just been covered already by me in that series. But yeah, I'm still sort of like looking for some inspiration for like some other cool new series, and I've got some ideas, but I just need to find some time to actually make videos, because yeah, I didn't necessarily want to start the video with it, but of course recently I've not been able to upload that much, and that's really because combining my studies and the YouTube channel is getting sort of like a lot harder recently. However, I'm really enjoying it whenever I do have the time to make a video, but recently I've really not been able to upload as much as I would like to, but I'm sure that towards the end of the year I'll have a little bit more time to work on it. So I guess then you'll see a little bit more of at least just some more videos by me, which I really like, and maybe some different videos than just speed builds as well, because I noticed that recently one of the reasons I'm making less videos is simply because I'm only doing speed builds, and speed builds are just the most time consuming videos you can ever make. Like let's builds and let's plays and tutorials are just way quicker to record, and these speed builds just take up a lot of time. So therefore it's not like the most convenient type of video to make. However, I know that this is what you want, and also this is secretly really what I want when it comes to the videos, because you know, within one video you get to see the full end result. However, with the Beach Club, I did really enjoy the Let's Build series, so maybe I can do a Let's Build series as well. I was thinking of maybe doing a Let's Build a Resort series. Even though you cannot really build a resort in The Sims 4, I still think it would be pretty cool to just build that building type in The Sims 4, or at least the architecture of it. It wouldn't really function as a resort. I guess I would just have to make it function as a swimming pool, or like a public swimming pool, or I don't know, anything like that. But that's something I'll just do some research into and just think a little bit about for like what will be the next Let's Build series, and just generally what other videos will I be uploading. I'm planning on uploading a little bit more SketchUp as well. However, I've realized that even though many people might think that now that I'm studying architecture, it's very easy for me to make these videos, it's actually gotten a lot harder, because back in the day I used to be able to just make a house. This sort of counts for The Sims 4 as well, but I used to be able to just create a house in SketchUp or something that looked like a villa and something that would look cool, and then that would basically be it, and then I would upload it and people would really like it. However, now that I'm an architecture student, I want to think about like sidelines and views and location, etc. as well. I also force myself to think about construction and stuff. It needs to be sort of doable, because that's basically what I'm learning every day nowadays, and therefore it's gotten a lot harder for me to be able to just make some mindless SketchUp speed builds. And also in The Sims, sometimes I'm just being restricted by the fact that you've got to work with the grid, and you cannot actually like design the type of window you want, but you've got to work with the windows that The Sims 4 has to offer. However, at the same time, otherwise it would be like the possibilities would really be endless, and it would be even harder for me, I guess. So basically it's good that we've got restrictions, but sometimes it does make it harder, especially for SketchUp, simply because I then have to make like the requirements of the building, so whatever sidelines and whatever views you want, I've got to set that for myself up front, and only then you can actually judge whether it's a good design or not, because there's something you can base it up on. Might sound sort of confusing, but that really is how it works. But anyways, there will be a new SketchUp video sometime soon. I'm just not too sure yet when, and also rendering of like the images and stuff just takes a lot of time. So again, those are really quite some time consuming videos to create. However, people tend to really like them, so that is great. The same counts for the speed build, so that's just basically awesome. As you can see, like basically the build up of the house is sort of clear already. I'm using a lot of vertical shutters, simply because that's basically the theme of the house and the style. Creating some privacy on the upper floors where the bedrooms are, and then total transparency on like the lower floors, except for the front. In the front, you've got those vertical shutters as well, simply because that creates even more privacy, of course. And the back, and also behind the shutters on the top floor, there's a lot of glass, so you can still see like the beautiful surroundings. However, you've got some privacy, which is necessary, I guess, because Miami Beach house, you've got some like famous people living there, so they want some privacy, I can imagine. And that is something I want to actually have in The Sims, and that's the possibility to make some kind of open outdoor indoor living thing, like which actually functions, because as you know, you can just leave it open, but then the lighting inside sort of screws up, and now therefore I've just added windows all around so that the interior lighting doesn't screw up. However, what I imagined like the back facade, so the water side facade, to be like is that you can completely open it, and whenever the weather is good, which it basically always is, you just open it all up, and then you sit outside even though you've got a roof over your head, but then you've got that sea breeze coming in. That's sort of what I imagine it to be like. But like I said, it would be cool if we would be able to actually have something which is open, but still makes the lighting inside not screw up, which is a very confusing explanation of this, I guess. By the way, the bar area which I added outdoors is I personally really liked it, because I can imagine that in my own dream house I would definitely add an outside bar, because how cool is it? You can just sit, especially at a location like that, and just enjoy some beers with your friends, and just enjoy the sunset. That would be really, really cool. So I've added that, and also inside there's a little bar, but that's just like some kind of breakfast bar. Nothing too crazy, I guess. Generally, the house isn't really big. It's just sort of fancy, That's sort of what I imagined it to be like. Generally, in Miami, the houses are very big, but they're not on like massive pieces of land. They're often sort of cramped together. That's sort of weird to say about those massive, expensive houses, but still, they've not got like acres of land. They're just all neatly besides each other. That's sort of what I imagine this house to be like as well. However, there's not really a lot which sort of fits that Miami vibe, simply because the world, just this world isn't really like the typical residential road you tend to see or tend to relate to Miami. It's really that tropical road which you see in like Tahiti, where there's no one around and it's all really tropical and coconuts and palm trees, which doesn't really matter because I totally love that world. But it makes it a little bit less Miami-like, but I guess that doesn't matter. Also in the front, I made it like a huge deck simply because you want to have very many people to lay around there. Normally I would say swim in the pool. In this case, you're literally underwater, so you don't really need a pool, but it would still have been cool if we'd be able to swim or add pools on water lots also on the base level, because then you would be able to make crazy cool infinity pools. You still can if you add it on a level on top, but that sort of creates a weird house or a weird looking house. Sometimes it's worked out really well in some of my builds, but sometimes it's very hard to make the pool not look too crazy massive, and to make like all the entire skill screw up. But yeah, I guess I can imagine they explained it back during EA Play when the game came out. They actually explained that it's very hard to make like it all work with like being able to edit terrain and being able to have your Sims walk into the water and making all those animations work and stuff. So I can imagine that it's a lot harder than I might actually think it is. And I guess, still, it looks really cool. I love the new trees that come with the pack, because seriously, there's so many new palm trees which come with it that I was surprised again when coming back to the game after like some weeks of not playing it, that there were so many new trees that I cannot even add all of them into one build because it would just be an overload. Oh, and by the way, I've added this the Machuno stuff pack items as well, some of them, because that pack came out during my holidays, so I hadn't looked into it yet, and then I didn't install it for like my last builds. But then I realized that there were actually quite some cool items with it, so I just wanted it all to be complete. So I've actually decided to install it now, and I've used some of those items in this pack, also, or in this build, also because I felt it sort of fitted that Miami vibe, which I really like, for this house at least. So some luxurious, chairs, stuff. There's some really cool lights. It's really focused on like creating an entire photo studio in your house, which I've not done. Would have been cool actually. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe I can next time do like some kind of photographer's penthouse or studio apartment, something like that, which I would build in city living. I guess I've not really been up to date with what everyone's been building. I can imagine that this is what literally everyone built when Summer Tuna came out, but I guess we're sort of past that release now, so I can simply just create it, or at least create my own vision on that. Because really, whenever like those industrial studio apartments or just working areas and just the industrial style is what I really like. And later for my own office, I would really like to have some kind of industrial warehouse and then turn that into a really cool architecture firm. And the place I'm studying in, or at least the town, there's a really cool architecture firm where literally a warehouse is turned into an architecture firm, and in the middle they've actually got some kind of crane and like a huge atrium, and it's just a really cool place, and that really inspires me, and I'd really like to build something like that. Maybe I should build my dream architecture firm in The Sims someday. That would be sort of a cool thing to do. However, that would like how many places to, it shouldn't be too ambitious. However, I'm sort of ambitious with regards to architecture, but yeah, it really depends on what type of build or what type of lot you would be able to get in real life, or what kind of building, and then based on what you are able to afford, you can actually turn that into something really cool, which is super logical, and I didn't actually really need to explain that. By the way, I just, while recording this commentary and telling that other story, I realized that I was wondering what the new GTA line will be, because I think it will be the Miami Vice style again, because GTA 5, which was obviously like their biggest success ever, or at least I think it was at least like the most sold game ever. That was in Los Santos, which means it's California, Los Angeles based. And then I believe GTA 4 was New York City. And then before that, I believe they had Miami Vice, which would really be cool to see with like new graphics and just seeing what they would be able to do with that. But I believe there's not been any trailer of that new game yet, so I'm not too sure if it will ever come out. But yeah, well, I'm sure that it will be coming, because obviously they're going to be able to make a lot of money on it. But yeah, they probably just put their bar so high with the last game that they find it sort of hard to, yeah, actually push the game even further and make something that's even better. Also because they probably will need to depend or rely on the new consoles, so like the PS5 and Xbox or whatever they're gonna call it, Xbox 2, but that sort of sounds weird, you know. That's whenever, also the same counts for like the new iPhone name strategy. I don't have a clue anymore, but even though I'm sort of into like iPhones and phones, and with Samsung I've lost it like 5 years ago with regards to what the name of their model is. I know they've always got the S number, which is like their main flagship, and then they've got the Note. But at some point like 4 years ago, they even had the Samsung blah 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 A5 camera phone, the Alpha 5. It's super weird, and I find, you know, that's sort of where they lack. And I find, you know, Apple's doing it pretty well. At least everyone knows what options there are, and nowadays they've totally screwed it up. And there's probably like some very smart business idea behind it. I just don't get it probably, but like I've got no idea what like the name strategy of them is, because they had iPhone 10 or X, and then they've got iPhone 10s, and then now they've got Pro as well, so iPhone Pro. And yeah, it's totally weird, because the iPhone R is now called iPhone 11, I believe. I have no clue. Anyways, they're crazy, really super expensive as well, especially here in the Netherlands. They're like, I believe if you get the most spec'd out iPhone Pro whatever, you pay like 1,500 euros, which is like, yeah, probably almost the same in dollars, probably like $1,700. But still, that's a crazy amount of money to pay on a phone, because even for a laptop it would be super expensive. And then you've got a laptop, you know? So that is just sort of weird. Anyways, I've totally gotten off track with regards to this commentary, and we're almost at the end of the speed build already. I'm building the master bedroom at this moment, and in a second I'll build a children's room. Both have their own bathroom, obviously, because it's America. And I wanted to build a bedroom on the first floor as well. However, I've decided to turn that into a gym, because I thought it would be cooler. And I just really didn't want to build another bedroom, and I really felt like it wasn't necessary to add another one, so I decided to do that. However, it seems that that last part hasn't actually been recorded, or at least the building of it, so you'll be able to see it in the overview at the end of the video, just starting in a couple of seconds. And don't forget that you're able to download this house from the gallery ID Dutch Sims Master. And then I hope to see you back in another video very soon. Goodbye.